This is Charter Local Edition. My name is Brad Pomerance, and we are joined today by Ling-Ling Chang. She is a member of the California State Assembly. She's also a candidate for the California State Senate. Boy, what a difference a year makes. Yeah. I remember speaking with you last year. You were running for the Assembly. You were successful, and now you are going to be a candidate for the Senate. How's it been, Assemblywoman?
It's been very interesting. And
Right.
last time I was here, I was just beginning as president of the League of California State's
Exactly.
LA County Division.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, that's
I remember
right.
that.
Yeah.
And so talk to us about your new job, which probably will change in 18 months, but how is it going from a city, Diamond Bar, League of Cities Presidents, LA County Division, and now Sacramento?
It's been wonderful. I mean,
Right.
I'm a policy wonk. I got my start actually getting elected to our local water agency, the board of our local water agency.
Couldn't be better timing for that.
Right,
we'll talk
exactly,
about that.
which is really interesting. And then moving on to council and then serving
Right.
as mayor of Diamond Bar and transitioning into the assembly.
Right.
It's been great, and I was very fortunate enough to also have a couple of leadership positions as vice chair roles in the assembly as well as Republican whip.
And I would also say that your election, in combination with two others, was somewhat historic. I know you're just Ling-Ling and, you know, but be that as it may, 3 Asian American women, all Republicans, were elected to the California State Legislature in November. Ling-Ling Chang, Young Kim, and Janet Nguyen. I mean, I know you're just you, but still, it's a historic moment.
Yeah, no, it was really exciting on an election night when all 3 of us won, and I think all of us we were grounded in our local communities.
Sure.
You know, I mean, I've been in local government. Young had been working for Congressman Royce, and then Janet Nguyen also was grounded in local government, and yeah, it's just really exciting for me in particular. Though the whole entire journey has been an interesting experience in itself, given how ethnic my name is. You know, a lot of people say, how can a person named Ling-Ling get elected, you know?
And your point is well taken, because, you know, taking nothing away from Janet, Senator Nguyen, she represents an area with a large Vietnamese community. She won the district handily, but still, the argument goes that, you know, she's a appropriate representative, be that as it may. You don't represent an area that's particularly Asian. You're Taiwanese in descent, which is an even kind of smaller subset. So, you know, is this a sea change that we're seeing, that really one's ethnicity is just not as relevant as it used to be?
I hope that's the case.
Right,
you know,
yes,
I really do hope that the merits
of
speak
course.
for itself, you know, and the experience. Yeah.
And you are now a leading candidate for the California State Senate.
Yes.
You, presuming victory, would represent almost 1 million people.
Yes.
Over 3 counties. That's a very significant and exciting development.
Absolutely.
I mean, how did this happen after 6 months in the Assembly? Good grief.
I like
in
to
the best
say
sense.
that hopefully, you know, my work in the Assembly speaks for itself. But yeah, I have been encouraged by quite a few folks to you know, follow in my mentor's shoes. You know, Senator Huff, who's going to be turned out.
Of course. So let's talk about some of the issues that are before you now. Like you said, you had been on a water board. And so I want to get a sense from you how you see the crisis we're facing right now as it relates to the drought. You know, you represent areas that are drought sensitive, parts of the Inland Empire. And so what are you hearing on the ground? What's your sense of the situation?
Well, there is a lot of emphasis on the drought, and folks are actually telling each other in the community, hey, be mindful of the drought, we need to conserve. Even going to restaurants, every single restaurant that I go to, they will say, you know, you have to ask for water. They will talk about the drought, every single restaurant, which is great, which is really wonderful. But in terms of a long-term solution, we do have to look at it from a multi-pronged approach. We have to still focus on conservation. We also have to be mindful of the bond that was passed by the voters and focus on streamlining and fast-tracking the above-ground storage projects.
Can we talk about that? So when you won, that same night, Prop 1 passed, very significant margin, provides, geez, I think it's almost $3 million or over $3 billion.
Yes. $2.7 billion for storage.
For above ground storage.
Right.
So we're facing a potential El Nino, which would be great. A lot of rain could come.
Exactly.
We don't have places to store this water that hopefully will be around the corner. One of your colleagues I've spoken with, James Gallagher.
Exactly, and I'm a co-author of his bill.
Okay, and that bill, what that bill would do is speed up, streamline the process to build above ground storage. But your friends on the Democratic side of the aisle were not fans of the bill, and it didn't pass.
Right.
And so talk to me about that process, the frustration surrounding that process.
Right. It's a little frustrating because you do see CEQA exemptions for, stadiums and whatnot, and we're
Warriors,
saying, hey, let's think about this drought right now, which is the #1 issue in the state. And let's think about how we can kind of expedite this process.
But let me ask you, Governor Brown has said on numerous occasions, CEQA reform is the Lord's work. Yeah. We have too many damn regulations. And this is from a Jesuit educated governor. So, he's serious about this.
Yeah.
So you have a governor who seems to be supportive of reforms. Why is this not gaining traction?
So I do believe in building relationships, and I have a lot of really great friends on both sides of the aisle.
Which is important.
And very, very important. And I believe that with the new freshman class coming in, there is this desire to want to do something about CEQA, and I think that we're slowly moving towards that direction.
But how do we get to a place where it's not an exemption here for this football stadium, an exemption there for this basketball stadium, but bona fide reform?
Comprehensive CEQA reform, yes.
I mean, Darrell Steinberg, former Senate Pro Tem, a Democrat. I mean, that was one of his big goals. Couldn't get it to pass. And so you have Democrats that seem to want it. You have Republicans that seem to want it. What is it?
Well, all I can say is hopefully after I get into the Senate, maybe we can come up with some solutions. But I do believe that we're in a new era. You see folks really wanting to be thoughtful, and they want to move California forward. So I'm optimistic.
Right now, as we speak today, you're in the midst of a special session on transportation. Right. And I actually think speaking with you is appropriate because you represent now and may represent in a couple of years an area where there's a lot of suburban communities, and those suburbanites are driving long distances to get into LA County, for example, or Orange County or whatever it is, and those roads have potholes on them and they're congested, and the special session focuses on those repairs. What can you tell us?
Exactly. Well, it's really unfortunate given the high gas prices, and actually we are the second highest in the nation, yet we are the second worst in the nation in terms of our roads. Right. And the Assembly Republicans had proposed a $6 billion package, which does not increase taxes, but utilizes funds that should have been allocated to transportation, like cap and trade.
The weight. The trucking weight issues.
Exactly. And actually, we've heard that the Democrats said, hey, that's a step in the right direction.
Right.
So hopefully we can work together on that.
Right. Your friends on the Democratic side, though, are looking at the gas tax with some frustration. And it may be that the Republicans are as well, because we know the gas tax, because of inflation, isn't worth as much. Because we are using more fuel-efficient vehicles. We don't have as many people paying gas tax. And we haven't raised the gas tax in, over 2 decades. Is that an area we want to look at?
I think we're going to be considering everything. I know that what has also been brought up ever since the beginning of the year was kind of a usage fee with the miles. But
here's the challenge for someone like you who represents suburban areas. Your folks need to drive longer distances to get to work. So should they be penalized because they've moved out to suburbia?
Right. That's also a consideration, as well as the privacy aspect.
Looking at those odometers.
Yes. So that's,
her name is Ling-Ling Chang. I can tell she is having a ball in the California State Legislature. A policy wonk you are. We are in the Inland Empire today. My name is Brad Pomerance. We thank you so much for joining us on Charter Local Edition.